Hi everybody, welcome to 9.8 Day 2. Today we're going to look at tables of functions and determine patterns to tell if they are linear, exponential, or quadratic functions. All right, so let's look here. We've done most of these before, so this should kind of be a review. All right, so determine if it's a linear function. Did you guys remember we just checked to see how do you get from one y to the next? So from 2 to 5, we're adding 3. From 5 to 8, we're adding 3. From 8 to 11, we're adding 3. So when there is a constant change by addition or subtraction in the y's, it's a linear function. So pattern could be if there is a constant change of addition or subtraction between the y's. Constant change of addition or subtraction between the y's. That would be a linear function. All right, let's look at exponential. So let's look at the y's. How do you get from one y to the next? This one's a little bit harder to see. I don't know if you guys remember. You're not adding or subtracting, so maybe we're multiplying by something. 0.25 times 2 is 0.5, and 0.5 times 2 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, so yeah, this one we're multiplying by 2 each time. And when there is a constant change of multiplication or division between the y's, that's a sign that it's an exponential function. Okay, so if you're adding or subtracting, it's linear. If you're multiplying or dividing, it's exponential. And now the one that we've never seen before. All right, so this one, it's not addition or subtraction because, well, let's see. Let's write it out. So to get from 5 to 2, we minus 3. To get from 2 to 1, we minus 1. To get from 1 to 2, we add 1. And to get from 2 to 5, we add 3. So there's no constant change. But check this out. We're going to do it a second time. How do you get from negative 3 to negative 1? We add 2. How do you get from negative 1 to positive 1? We add 2. And how do you get from 1 to 3? We add 2. This is the pattern when it's a quadratic function. All right, so when there is a constant change of addition or subtraction between the, let's say the second differences. And I'll explain that a little bit better. All right, so exponential is multiply or divide. Linear is add or subtract on the first set of y's. Quadratic is when you do the first set and then the second set is constant. Okay, so if it doesn't work for the first set and you check the second differences and those are constant, then it's quadratic. Okay, but let's try some on the back. All right, so you guys have 6 graphs, and you have to tell me if it's linear, quadratic, or exponential. All right, so number 1, how do you get from y to y? So from negative 6 to negative 6, we're adding 0. From negative 6 to negative 4, we're adding 2. From negative 4 to 0, we're adding 4. And from 0 to 6, we're adding 6. Now, this is not the same number, so it's not linear. We're also not multiplying or dividing, so it's not exponential. So let's do that thing where we check the second difference. From 0 to 2, we're adding 2. From 2 to 4, we're adding 2. From 4 to 6, we're adding 2. Okay, when there's a constant change in the second difference, that's quadratic. So this one is quadratic. All right, number 2. If you look from y to y, it looks like there is already a constant change of adding 3. Does everybody see that? Adding 3, adding 3. So when it's a constant change on the first y differences, that is linear. This one is linear. All right, number 3. How do we get from y to y? This one looks like we're actually maybe multiplying. So what are we multiplying to get from y to y? Well, 2 times 5 is 10. And actually, it turns out 0.4 times 5 is 2, and 0.08 times 5 is 0.4. You might have needed a calculator to see this pattern. If it's a multiplication pattern, then it's automatically exponential. All right, let's look at number 4. So number 4, to get from 2 to 0.5, we're subtracting 1.5. To get from 0.5 to 0, we're adding 0.5. To get from 0 to 0.5, we're adding 0.5. And to get from 0.5 to 2, we're adding 1.5. Okay, so that's nothing. Let's do it again. Let's try the second differences. To get from negative 1.5 to positive 0.5, we're adding 2. To get from, oh, actually, sorry. This one should be negative. To get from negative 0.5, oh, sorry, and then this would be plus 1 then. Sorry, I had that negative wrong. So to get from negative 1.5 to negative 0.5, we're adding 1. Okay, to get from negative 0.5 to positive 0.5, we're adding 1. And to get from 0.5 to 1.5, we're also adding 1. Okay, so this is one of those where the second differences check out. So that's quadratic. Number 5, I think, is pretty obvious. Looks like, what are we doing from y to y? I think it's constant already. Adding 6, adding 6, adding 6, adding 6. So when it's constant from the start, addition or subtraction, it's linear. And then number 6, this one I actually think we're dividing. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. So when it's a constant division, that is exponential. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys.